And welcome back to Politically Unfiltered. And today's video is going to be about two different things that I'm not really sure about everything. I did a little bit of research here before I got ready to take off this morning on my Saturday morning errands. And the two subjects is, number one, Trump in this situation with Iran. It's really something else. With what's happening, there are certain things that I don't understand why some things are happening and why some things aren't happening that should have happened. I'm sure that there's legitimate reasons. Anyone out there that is military or ex-military might understand why certain things happen, certain things don't happen, certain things haven't happened that should have happened, whatever. Maybe you can answer my questions. And the second thing is, you've probably been hearing it the last few days in the media, that our national debt has reached $40 trillion. And why don't we talk about that one first? Because that I understand a little bit more, but again, I'm no authority on it or nothing. I'm just kind of giving my opinion on what little bit of research I did, and it makes sense. But Trump told Bassett, his economics guy, that they've been given a task to come up with whatever it is that they can come up with to figure out how to reduce this national debt that we have. It keeps getting more than our GDP, gross domestic product. And Bassett came up with not solutions, but ways that can keep this debt from getting any worse. And if anything, it might be able to bring it down. And the different ideas that he put forth, again, I'm not an economics expert, but it sounds like it makes sense if we do what he's talking about. And if we can get the economy going even better than what it's going now, that's going to help tremendously. And the real big thing is this damn fraud that's going on everywhere. I mean, just in one state alone. You can use the state of Maine, the one that I'm living in, or pick any state in the union. I think that every one of them have got some level of fraud going on. You've got these people that are running these nonprofits and these places that they're claiming will offer assistance to people, like medical assistance primarily. And then they'll say, for example, all right, if your child has autism, we could provide a service to help that child. And the federal government was told that this is what this organization was going to do in this particular state, whatever it might be. So they applied for, and they get this grant from the federal government. They get all kinds of money, and I'm assuming that they might get their own state's money too, to help them provide this service for people who have children who have autism. And they use this money to go around and either rent places or buy places, and then they put a sign on the front of it that says, "We help kids with autism." But every time you go there to check the place out, that's all it is. It's a door with a sign on it, with an empty office. Or there was even one that I heard. Now, I don't know if this is true or not, but it sounds about right. That little idea that I was just explaining to you is very similar to this one here. Someone comes up with an idea. We want to help people. And let's say, specifically, they want to help people who are depressed and they need someone to talk to or something. They actually rented this sounds like it wasn't much more than a room, just a room. And they put a table in it, a little table with a coffee pot and some coffee and some coffee cups and some sugar and some creamer. But the way they put it across to the government when they said, we're going to provide this service for people and we're going to need, I don't know how many millions of dollars a year that these people got, that was doing this non-profit room for people who were depressed, were upset with life, whatever. They needed someone to talk to. They didn't explain the details to the government, and the government didn't care. They were just like, okay, you want to help some people? Here's so many millions of dollars to do it. And all they did was they rented a room, like I said, put a table, a coffee pot, some coffee cups, and some cream and some sugar, a couple of chairs, and then that way any two people who wanted to go in and sit down, have a coffee, and talk about life's ups and downs. And what would that cost a month? To keep the place furnished with 2 chairs, a table, a coffee pot, some coffee, cream and sugar, and that's it. The rest of the money, I have no idea where it went, and neither does anybody else except the people that organized this little non-profit idea. This is what's going on, and the government is footing the bill to this fraud. It's what it is. It's just total, complete fraud. Well, Bissett said that, for example, J.D. Vance and the people under him have been going out and trying to clean up a lot of this fraud. And by the sounds of it, with what J.D.'s doing and anybody else with him, there's no question that it's not enough. It's, they're taking care of what they're taking care of, but there's so much more that it's like overwhelming, and we have got to get more and more people involved in exposing this and cleaning it the hell up. And just that alone is going to save our government billions upon billions every year. So whatever these ideas are that Bissett has and his team, I'm putting trust in him. Because when you read it and see the different things that they want to try to do, it makes sense. Again, I'm not saying that I'm an expert or nothing, but I know how I run my own house. And if I bring money in every week, like I do when I get my paycheck, and I get frauded or I get whatever, the first thing you do is you get rid of that and stop that spending. And if there's more spending over here that needs to be taken care of, you stop that spending. And if there's bad spending here, you stop that. Next thing you know, you're able to start taking care of your debt. It's going to take some time, but once you get it cleared up, the next thing you know, your house is running on an even keel. And then you have to maintain it and keep it that way. That's all the government's got to do. And when I read what Bissett's trying to do and his team, that's exactly what he's trying to do. Get the spending under control, get the waste removed and taken care of so we're not wasting anymore. Then take those savings and put it towards whatever debt. And if you can keep that debt and the spending at about the same, you can reduce the debt. But you do have to reduce the spending too. And a lot of that spending is primarily this fraud. There's other spending going on, yes, but that's spending that you can't help. You have to spend. Like you've got to pay out Social Security every month. You've got to pay out for roads and bridges and infrastructure. That stuff you've got to pay out. The government has a responsibility, and they can't get out of that for sure. But all of that waste and fraud, that stuff can be taken care of, and that will definitely help. Well, now this all kind of ties right into with what's going on in Iran. And we all know what it is. We all know that it's something that we've gotten involved with, and with what I understand of it, the intelligence from all over the place was reporting that Iran was producing high-grade uranium. And they were claiming that they were only going to use it to make nuclear plants to produce electricity. And if that's the case, then I don't know how the numbers work, but in order for them to use uranium to produce electricity, they only needed to have, let's say it's 1 to 10. I don't know what the actual numbers are, but all they needed was a grade of maybe 2 or 3, whatever's, to make uranium so they could produce electricity. But if their intentions were to use a bomb, then they'd have to get very close to the 10. And that's what they were doing. They were enriching this uranium to a 10, basically telling the world, we're going to make a bomb. The minute we get it at that level, we can make a bomb and we can set it off on people and life is good. And this is exactly why President Trump and his administration said, we've got to get in there, because the world looks at us, the United States, we're the biggest, we're the toughest, we're the baddest. So if we're the biggest, toughest, and baddest, then it's us that has to go in there and make sure that they do not get a bomb. It's as simple as that. And they cannot have a bomb. It's as simple as that. Because if they have a bomb, they're just going to kill a lot of innocent people. And I know that they said back in the 40s, when they were dropping the atomic bomb on over in Japan there, they could kill 30, 40,000 people with one of those bombs. When they went off, 30, 40,000 people to die, 20,000, 60,000. I don't know the exact number, but I mean, it's thousands and thousands and thousands of innocent people that could die, okay? That was back then. Now you're talking 60, 80 years later with advanced technology. Now if you have one of these bombs, how many people is it going to kill? 1 million? 2 million? I don't know. I have no idea. Again, I'm not an expert. All I do know is I've got common sense. And if they could create bombs 80 years ago that could kill 20, 60, 70,000 people at a time, God knows how many they can kill now. And Iran is a country that would use one of those type bombs just for the simple fact of using it. I mean, these are very sick individuals. Very sick individuals. All right, I'm going to have to pick this up when I get back. I've got to go to the dump here and get rid of my garbage, and I'll be right back. Okay, now I'm back. Now I've explained exactly what I understand of why we're there, and I totally understand that what's being done in Iran has to be done. It isn't a case of, should we or shouldn't we, or, there's no questions about it. These people have to be prevented from having that bomb, and it's that simple. So then I took it one step further to find out more information. And what I wanted to know was, okay, we are a very strong, powerful nation with a very powerful military. And I'm saying to myself, well, from what I understand about Iran, they aren't quite as advanced as we are. They don't have a military anywhere near our size, but yet we go over there, and we've been there for how long now? And that's what wasn't making sense. In my mind, if we're the biggest, baddest boy on the block, why can't we just go in there and pound the living you-know-what out of them and end this whole thing so that it's no longer an issue? Well, with the research that I did, I guess it's not quite that easy, and Iran may be a little bit more powerful than I first suspected. And I still question everything as far as, well, why haven't we gone in and done that? Because right now we have right-wing talking heads talking about midterms are coming up, And Iran knows that if they can keep this going until October, there are two things going on in October. First off, you've got the October surprise, which is what they want. They want to try to do something about causing a real big upset in October because, number one, here in America, we expect an October surprise. Every time there's an election, there's a surprise, something that you don't expect, and bang, there it is. It happens and screws everything up, and it's almost like you start all over again when it comes to elections. At the same time, in Israel, they've got elections going on that's in October. And they want to screw things up for Israel too, of course, because they don't like Israel. Nobody in the Middle East likes them. For whatever reason, I don't know. That's a whole other different video, a whole other episode. And I may do that soon. I'll do some research and see what the heck I can find out. But anyways, Iran wants to do everything that they can to make October very difficult for Israel and America. So the talking heads in the right wing right now on talk radio and right-wing media, they're all saying the same thing, that Trump, you need to get in there and do whatever you're going to do and do it and get it done now. Because if you don't, you're going to have problems in October, November, and things are not going to turn out the way you want them to, and it's going to screw up your midterm elections. And Trump is fully aware of this, and yet he's got his own people saying, you got to do something, and the best thing to do is do it now while you've still got a little bit of time so you can keep, prices from going up and everything that this war is causing. I'm at the post office. You got to hang on. I'll be right back in a minute. Okay, I'm back. So we're at a point where, from what they're saying, and if I'm understanding them clearly, we've got to do something now. If we're going to do something, we got to do it now. So, what some of the suggestions are is primarily economics. If there is a stranglehold put on their economy, Iran's economy, then that right there, it may take time, but it won't escalate this war, if that's what you want to call it. I call it a regime change. But war, we'll use the word war. And enough people have died already. There's no sense for more people to die, so it would be easier to just put extreme sanctions on Iran. The only problem is it's this time element, and I thought I saw on the news the other day, it said something like 77, 78 days left to the midterms. So that's not a lot of time. That's not a lot of time, especially dealing with this Iran. Whatever they do, I just hope that they can come up with an idea of how to deal with these people. And it's not the people of Iran, I should make this clear. It's the people that are running the government that have power over the military, and they have power of enriching this uranium that they have. And those are the big problems right there that we have to deal with. And how it's going to be done, I don't know. Again, I'm not a military guy. I don't know what's right or wrong that way. I mean, one thing I do know is killing is bad. You don't want a lot of people dead. But for the greater good, especially in a situation like this, that there are going to be people that's going to die. That's as simple as that. And it's going to be on both sides. There's going to be no winners when it comes to life and death. And that sucks too. I don't know. What else are you going to do? You've got a country that will not behave themselves. They are like a totally, completely irresponsible child that's been given a whole bunch of power that they have no idea what to do with it other than to just misbehave constantly. So it's a hell of a mess. I admit it is. It's a hell of a mess. But the one thing I will say is thank the good Lord that we've got President Trump in there and not someone from on the left, because anybody on the left, they're not going to handle it right. And right now, I think President Trump is handling it the best way that he can. And I hope he's got some good ideas. I hope he's got good advisors. Because I really just would like to see this come to an end, just like you guys would. I mean, I'm tired of this being an issue, and I'm absolutely sick and tired of Iran being the bully of the Middle East, like they have been for the last 45 or 50 years. I'm just tired of it, and that does need to come to an end. And the only way to do it is definitely this way, by using the military. There is no other way of doing it. And hopefully the answers will come around for us, and it'll happen, and hopefully this will get straightened out before the midterms, because I really do not want to see Democrats regain the ground that they've lost in the last 4 or 5 years. And if they regain ground, it's just not going to be good for us here in the United States, because you're going to have higher taxes. You think things cost bad now, you wait and let them get back in power. You watch the cost of stuff then, because look, the proof's in the pudding. All right, yes, we're paying $4, and I think I paid $4.08 or $4.09, I think it was, in Ellsworth day before yesterday for gas, and that's expensive. I don't disagree. But if you had a Democrat in there, it'd be $5 a gallon. So, I mean, even though it's still a little expensive, it ain't as bad as it could be. And from what I've understood about that, Exxon and Mobil, they're keeping their prices up when the barrel price went down. They should have gone down, but they didn't. So they're not helping the situation either. They're being greedy. They're doing that damn gouging. They need to stop that. Shame on you, Exxon Mobil and Chevron and all you big oil companies. Shame on you. All right, I've come to the end of the video. I'm not going to rant on anymore. I didn't get a video out yesterday. I am sorry. Excuse me, I had a really busy day. I had a lot of different things I had to do all day, so I had to kind of take a break from making the videos. I didn't like it, but I did. It happened. Had to do it, but oh well. All right, I want you guys to have a great weekend. Don't forget, like, share, subscribe. Definitely leave a comment if you want to say, hey, I agree with your aunt, or no, I don't agree with you, and I think you're full of you-know-what right up your eyebrows. Go ahead, I'm ready for a kid. Okay, you guys have a good weekend. We'll catch you in the next video. We're going.